week in the pre-algebra. We've got J8 today, which is our last lesson in J. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be a formative. Okay, so we're going to take another formative tomorrow. We'll get that back to you on Wednesday. Wednesday, we're going to do some kind of a review activity. I don't know if it's going to be a quick solve. It probably more than likely will be whiteboards, all that fun stuff, writing equations of that, all the different types and all the fun stuff there. Thursday is going to be that work day review type thing where we get our last minute questions answered and all of that such. Okay? And then Friday, we're going to take a test. Okay? So Friday is going to be our summative test. Okay? So what I would like you to do to start is I would like you to do the 2 warm-ups that we have for J8. 2 warm-ups. Go. Let's mix it. Izzy, we're going to start with you. Okay? We have an M. What? You give me 17 different answers for a yes/no question. Which one is it? What is it? Give me another chance. It's 3, because the slope is M, right? Right? And especially since they asked you what the slope was, and it says the slope is 3. So we're going to say that's M. Right? Okay. All right. We have the y-intercept. What is it? -4, because our point is 0, -4, that means that my y-intercept then is going to be -4, which means my b is going to be -4. Yes? Why? Now the fact that we have an m, we have a b, can you give me the y equals mx plus b for this scenario?
-4
Keep going.
equals 3.
Yep.
0
Yep.
plus b.
Okay, so you went, so I'm with it. So you went y equals mx plus b here, and then you went -4 equals 3 times 0 plus b. What do you get for b?
I got -4.
-4. Yeah. So then you get -4 that way as your b. That works too. Okay. All right. So now we got a y, we got a b, or we got an m, we got a b. Give me y, the final y equals mx plus b.
Y equals 3x times 4.
Well, do we have an m? -2/3, right? Okay. Do we have a b? Do we have the b? Like right now, as before, you probably do, but right now, as it's written, do we have a b? Nope, so we got to do this process, right? Okay, give it to me. 1 equals -2/3 times 6 plus b. That's what I heard from you, right? Plus m. Cora, -2/3 times 6. -4? Yep, exactly. Right? Because we can break it out here. -2/3 times 6/1 is going to be -12 on the top, 3 on the bottom. That's going to be -4. So we get 1 equals -4 plus b. Pink Chloe. How do I solve that for b? Add 4 to both sides. And what do you get then? What's 1 plus 4? What's 1 plus 4? 5. 5 equals b. Yeah. Bryce, do I have an m? Do I have a b? Give me the y equals mx plus b for it. You, like some other people, may not think that that axis is from horizontal. Well, good. No. All right. So, what's slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, today what we're going to do is the last of the kinds of problems. So we started way back on the 2nd, so that would have been 2 weeks ago. We started by looking at the graph and finding the y-intercept on the graph, finding the slope as rise over run from the graph, and then we put that into y equals mx plus b form. We did that on April 2nd. We did that pretty much just April 2nd, and we've been doing it kind of sporadically since then. Then we jumped into given the slope and given a point on the line. Okay, that was what we were doing in those last 2 warm-up problems. We went into that. Okay? Then we kind of mixed it all together. And then we added in finding the equations from a table. So if you got a table of values and such. The last way is we're going to find the slope between 2 points. So let's call our 2 points A, comma, actually no, I don't want to use A because then it gets B. B gets in there. Let's go with W, X, Y, and X and Y. Okay, we'll go M, comma, N, and S, comma, T. So there's our 2 points. Okay? So really, I didn't want to use B because then it's y equals mx plus b. I didn't want to use X or Y because that's also y equals mx plus b. We'll go with those two. Okay? So what we're going to do with those is we are going to make a chart from them. Okay? So you're going to physically make the chart now instead of having the chart be given to you. And your chart only has to look like that. And then you're going to label the first column X, and you're going to label the second column Y. And it doesn't matter what order you put those points into your chart, but your M is going to go, that's in the X spot, so that's going to go there. The corresponding Y one then is N. The second point is S and T, and the X and the Y positions in our point. And now we have a chart, right? How do we find the slope of the line based off of a chart? We're up to you. How do we find? Do you remember how we found it last week? You can look back in your notes. I'll let you. All of these. I see. You got all the stuff right there. I see them. Then what we do with them? Remember what we called it? No? No? Do you remember what we called it when we found the stuff in the chart? Like we did something here. We did something there. And we did something here. Remember what we called that? The rate of change. What do we call the rate of change? If it was a symbol, a letter, and then over a symbol and a letter. The triangle, delta. Yep. So we found the change in the y's, right? And then we divided that by the change of the x's, right? Okay. So our slope here, remember, is delta y. Oops, I will put delta y over delta y. That would have been bad. Over delta x. Change in y's over change in x's. Okay? Lots of people are still giving me off of a chart. They're giving me change in x's over change in y's. Okay? Not happening. Okay? Kind of like Jesus should take his earbud out of his ear. You know, that shouldn't happen either. Change in y over change in x, right? Okay? Chloe. Okay. What did we do then after we found the slope? We, like in the old time, right? When we had like 4 things to choose from. But now I've only got 2 to choose from. Pick one of those, right? Yeah, and then we put that into y equals mx plus b with those 2, and then our m, and then we find our b, right? So kind of like what we've been doing all along. Yeah. So let's do number 1. Okay? So we first have to make our chart, correct? Okay? So I've got an x, I've got a y, and I need 2 spots in my chart, just like such. Talk. Got it? Okay. And we don't want to mix those up, right? Because we want the points to be horizontal still, right? Good job. Okay? All right? Michelle, now we got to find our slope, right? Our change in y over our change in x. So how do I go from 5 to 8? Plus 3. Love it. How do I go from -1 to -2? -1. You had it. I thought I was going to teach you the trick because the 1 to 2 is like adding 1. And I thought you were going to say plus 1. Right. Monday. Okay. All right, so my slope then is going to be +3 over -1. Jesus, is there a better way that we could write +3 over -1? What? Close. Just missing 1 word in front of the 3. Positive divided by a negative is so -3? Yeah, negative. Okay. One last question, Jesus. Do you want to use the top point or the bottom point? Top one? Okay. Okay. Because we've got to use one of the 2 points in our y equals mx plus b. Jump that up there a little bit. We got to use that y equals mx plus b. So you're right. He chose the top point. Are you okay with the top point? Okay. Yeah? Okay. Give me the y equals mx plus b for it then, for this scenario using the top. No? 5, yep. 5 equals -3 times plus m. Because we use that top one. We don't go to the bottom line at all. Kind of forget about it. I'd say cross it out, but I don't want you to cross it out. Lisa, -3 times -1. It is 3. So then we've got 5 equals 3 plus b. How would I solve that for b? Subtract 3 from both sides. Yep. 2 equals b. Love it. Bring it back to y equals mx plus b. Do we have an m? Do we have a b? Give it 2. Let's do one more. And then I'll turn you loose on the backside. Okay? Wyatt, we're up to you. Make a T-chart first, right? Be my first line of my T-chart.
6. And 5.
Okay? Second line.
And then 0. And 2.
Okay? Love it. Izzy, now we need to figure out our change in lines, right? 5 to 2. -3. Love it. 6 to 0. They're changing our x. -6. Love it. Okay? Then we need to figure out our slope, which is going to be -3 over -6. Okay? Right. Negative divided by a negative is a positive, so we can forget about the negatives, right? 3 divided by 6. Do I like it? What do I like instead? Nope, not positive 2. That would be 6 divided by 3. So how many times does, because you divided them both by 3, right? How many times does 3 go into 3? Once. So that means I'm going to have 1 on the top. How many times does 3 go into 6? Twice, right? So then that's going to be 2 on the bottom. So, this one's on. That's yeah, with me? Love. Yeah. Pink flow. Which point do you want to choose? Top one or the bottom one? Give me another chance. Do you know why? Because 0 is your best friend. Okay? Anytime that you have a 0 in a point, that's the point that you want to choose. Because it makes stuff go away. You know what I mean? Less math. Okay? So we're going to try that bottom one. So then if I'm going y equals mx plus b, then that's going to be 2 equals 1/2 times 0 plus b. 1/2 times 0 equals 0, right? 0 plus b. B, right? So b is equal to 2. Cora, do we have an M? Do we have a B? So give me my y equals mx plus b for this. Love it. There are 4 for you to do at this time while I hand stuff back on the back side. On the fourth one, where you have a graph, you just have to pick 2 points that line goes through in order to figure out the 2 points to go into your chart. Okay? Have at it. Go for it. Mm-hmm. 1, we got 7, and negative 1. We went with change in y as plus 0. We went with a change in x as minus 1. Or if you flip them around, if you put the other, because it doesn't matter what order you put the points in, as long as you put them in right horizontally, it would still be 0 over positive 1. So the slope here is 0 over negative 1, which is just 0. Slopes that are zeros, right? Those are our Hoy lines. So they're just going to be y equals. If you didn't remember that they're the Hoy lines, then you do y equals mx plus b, and then you would say negative 1 equals 0 times either 8 or 7 plus b, and you would get negative 1 is equal to b. And so then you would go y equals 0x plus b, but we would just write that as y equals negative 1. It's a horizontal line. Yes? But two, negative 1, 6, and 5. Okay. So then we've got a change in y of plus 6. We've got a change in x of plus 4 is the slope of positive 6 over positive 4. Do I like positive 6 over positive 4? Yay or nay? Anyone? Chloe, what do I like instead? 3 over 2. Yes, ma'am. They can both be divided by 2. So we like it as 3 over 2. Then we're going to go y equals mx plus b. Top or bottom, anyone? Top or bottom? First one to say top or bottom wins. Bottom I heard first. 5 equals 3 over 2 times 6 plus b. 5 is going to equal 9. That should be 9 there. 3 over 2 times 6 over 1 is 18 over 2. 9 plus b, subtract 9, gives me negative 4. Equal to y equals mx plus b then. Y equals 3 halves x minus 4. Questions on those two? Way too close. Change in y is plus 2. Change in x is plus 0. So my slope becomes positive 2 over positive 0. 2 divided by 0. Cora, what did you come up with when you did 2 divided by 0 on your calculator? Error, so an undefined, right? So this is undefined. Undefined slopes are what? Are they special? So special that they might be on the sideboard? Yes? Which ones are they on the sideboard? They're Bucks lines, right? So vertical, undefined, x equals, what is our x equal to? What is our x equal to? 2. Love it. That's one point we can choose. Oh, I like this. What is that? That's 4, comma 4. Now off of a graph, we could go +1 for our rise, +4 for our run. So slope is 1/4. Y-intercept is 3, 0, 3, so our B is 3, so we could get that. Or we could make a chart. We could make the chart here of 0, 3, 4, 4, and then here we would have went up 1. Here we would have went up 4. So my slope then would be +1 over +4, which is 1/4. And then I could put either one of those back into the equation and got my y-intercept of 3. We could do that in multiple